In the swirling chaos of 1940, a single roar could truly shift the tides of war. 14 rare World War II aircraft engines starting up. Sounds you'll never forget. Now, each mechanical marvel, from the thunderous Merlin to the fearsome DB605, soared through desperate skies, turning iron to legend. Listen closely. History's mightiest engines are about to sing. Engine number 1, Rolls-Royce Merlin. In 1940, Britain's final stand depended on one thunderous engine. A hidden flaw almost sealed its fate. War loomed over Europe, and the RAF urgently needed a power plant that could outrun and outfight the Luftwaffe. Enter the Merlin, a 27-liter supercharged V12 masterpiece that delivered over 1,000 horsepower to icons like the Spitfire and the Hurricane. Engineers battled design setbacks and governmental doubt, racing against time to perfect an engine that seemed doomed from the beginning. Now, when the Merlin roared during the Battle of Britain, it turned fear into defiance and forced the Luftwaffe back. In sharp dives, its carburetor starved the engine, a lethal flaw that was fixed by a brilliant engineer known for her cunning solution. Now, once fitted to an American P-51, the Merlin gave Allied bombers safe passage to Berlin, shifting the air war's momentum. Over 150,000 Merlins were built, and even today, their roar at air shows chills spines and stirs hearts across the globe. Number 2, the Pratt & Whitney R2800 Double Wasp. In 1941, an American masterpiece took flight in the Pacific. One overlooked glitch almost left it grounded. As conflict raged, U.S. carriers needed radical power. Pratt & Whitney responded with a bold radial design. Meet the R2800 Double Wasp, an 18-cylinder, 2,800 cubic inch monster capable of over 2,000 horsepower at full throttle. Now, engineers battled cooling issues, tight deadlines, and a skeptical Navy. Failure would mean losing critical aerial support at sea. Mounted on the F-6F Hellcat, this radial devoured enemy planes over the Pacific, protecting carriers and pilot lives. Its short service intervals stunned planners until a new lubrication system extended its lifespan under brutal conditions. Once refined, the R2800 powered legendary fighters like the P-47 Thunderbolt and F-4U Corsair, flipping the air war's balance. Over 125,000 units rolled out, shaping post-war aviation and reminding the world of America's radial engineering prowess. You enjoying the story? Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next forgotten engine that changed the world. Number 3, the Daimler-Benz DB605. In the skies over Europe, Germany's DB605 pushed the Bf109 to new heights. One slip nearly cut its wings, though. Now, by 1942, Germany demanded an engine to outpace Allied fighters. Daimler-Benz aimed to deliver unstoppable force. The DB605, a supercharged 35.7-liter V12 that was capable of 1,475 horsepower, formed the heart of the Messerschmitt fierce arsenal. Now, rush production led to reliability nightmares. Engineers fought overheating cylinders and subpar fuel to keep the Luftwaffe competitive. Once refined, Bf-109 pilots terrorized Allied bombers, praising the DB605's swift climb and fearsome horsepower edge. Sabotage by forced labor occasionally compromised parts, showing hidden flaws that risk catastrophic mid-air failures. Now, despite hurdles, advanced variants with water methanol injection soared above Allied escorts, stalling Germany's ultimate defeat. Now, although overshadowed by the Merlin, the DB605 still symbolized German engineering might, leaving echoes in modern aero design. Engine number 4, the Mitsubishi Kinsi. Now, in the Pacific Theater, Japan's Mitsubishi Kinsi powered agile fighters. Now, one looming shortage threatened to silence its roar forever. Japan needed robust engines for carrier-based warfare. The Kinsi offered a promising radial solution under strict resource limits. This air-cooled radial boasted up to 1,300 horsepower in some variants, driving planes like the A6M0's later models. Mitsubishi's teams wrestle with fuel quality and scarce materials, pushing design limits to sustain performance at sea. Kinsi-equipped aircraft excelled in maneuverability, giving Imperial pilots a deadly edge during early Pacific clashes. Production bottlenecks left frontline units underpowered at critical moments, tarnishing Japan's once-feared airborne advantage. Improved variants with better superchargers extended range and altitude, but the war's tide had already turned. Though overshadowed by the Sakai, the Kinsi remains a testament to Japanese radial know-how under extreme pressure. Engine number 5, the Schvzovv ASH82. On the Eastern Front, the Schvzovv ASH82's roar meant Soviet resilience, but one hidden quirk nearly crippled production. Facing relentless Luftwaffe assaults, the Red Air Force demanded robust, easily produced engines for icy battlegrounds. The ASH82 was a two-row, 14-cylinder radial that delivered about 1,700 horsepower, a lifeline for Lavochkin fighters. Now, Soviet factories raced against sabotage and shortages, forcing redesigns to maintain reliability in bone-chilling conditions. ASH82-powered LA-5 fighters turned the tide at Stalingrad, outgunning German planes at low altitudes. Untrained assembly crews introduced flaws that grounded entire squadrons until emergency measures streamlined production. Upgraded ASH-82 FN models boosted Soviet aces, proving crucial in reclaiming Soviet skies from the Luftwaffe. Produced in massive numbers, the ASH-82's robust design influenced post-war radial evolution and Eastern aviation philosophy. Engine number 6, the BMW 801. Now, within Germany's war machine, the BMW 801 fueled fearsome FW190s. A single design gamble nearly sank it. By 1941, the Luftwaffe needed a powerful radial alternative to V-12s. Now, BMW stepped forward with an unconventional approach. The 14-cylinder air-cooled BMW 801 reached 1,600 horsepower, giving the FW190 formidable speed and climb rates. Complex cooling systems and early teething problems caused engine fires, straining Germany's production capacity and morale. In skilled hands, FW190s outclassed Allied Spitfires at low altitudes, shocking opponents with raw agility. Frequent maintenance intervals drained resources, forcing desperate pilots to fly under risky conditions anyway. Refinement led to the FW190A series, solidifying the BMW 801 as a mainstay of German air power. Despite limited resources, BMW 801's influence endured, paving the way for modern high-output radial designs. Engine number 7, the Nakajima Sakai. In 1941, a sleek fighter dominated the Pacific. At its heart, Nakajima Sakai hummed with lethal promise. Japan bet on lightweight, high-performance aircraft. The Sakai delivered agility for the feared Mitsubishi A6M0. A 14-cylinder radial with up to 1,130 horsepower, it balanced speed, climb, and fuel efficiency. But lack of armor and self-sealing tanks demanded absolute reliability, pressuring Nakajima to refine performance swiftly. Early in the war, Sakai-powered Zeros destroyed Allied fighters, claiming air superiority across the Pacific. Production faltered under Allied bombing, and quality dips forced frontline pilots to nurse mechanical failures. Improved models tried to keep pace with evolving Allied designs, but the Zero's advantage had slipped away. The Sakai remains legendary for enabling the Zero's iconic agility, forever tied to Japan's aerial rise and fall. Number 8, the YNER Yumo O4. Now, in 1941, a futuristic whine pierced the skies. Germany's Yumo O4 jet engine that was a gamble that really rattled the Allies. As piston engines peaked, Nazi engineers pursued jet propulsion for a last-ditch technological leap. The Yumo O4 was the world's first operational turbojet, thrusting the Me-262 into near supersonic realms. Costly alloys and immature tech plagued production, causing frequent breakdowns and skyrocketing maintenance demands. When operational, Me-262s outran enemy escorts, marking a terrifying leap in aerial warfare. Undertrained pilots and limited fuel meant many O-4s never reached their full potential, dulling Germany's secret weapon. Despite their teething troubles, the Me-262 still threatened Allied bombers until resource collapse ended that jet dream. Though too late to change the war, the Yumo O4 shaped post-war jet engine research and global aviation progress. Engine number 9, Bristol Hercules. In Britain's darkest hour, the Bristol Hercules drummed across the channel. One critical flaw nearly halted its march. The RAF needed reliable radials for bombers and fighters alike. Bristol offered a multi-role solution, the Hercules, a 14-cylinder sleeve valve radial that delivered up to 1,735 horsepower, powering icons like the Beaufighter. Early sleeve valve issues caused excessive wear and oil leakage, testing the patience of pilots and mechanics. That refined versions excelled in anti-shipping rates, giving Coastal Command the punch to disrupt U-boat operations. Emergency high-octane fuel sometimes led to detonation, forcing hasty retrofits to keep engines in fighting shape. Bolstered Hercules versions powered heavy bombers like the Halifax, ensuring that the RAF stayed a formidable nighttime menace. Now mass-produced and versatile, the Hercules paved the way for post-war turboprop concepts and remained a British engineering milestone for years to come. Engine number 10, the Wright R2600 Cyclone. Across the Pacific, the Wright R2600's rumble spelled trouble for Axis ships. One persistent glitch risked massive losses. The U.S. Navy needed a dependable medium horsepower radial for bombers and torpedo craft. Wright answered the call. The 14-cylinder R2600, known as the Cyclone, produced up to 1,900 horsepower, crucial for the B-25 Mitchell. Overheating in tropical climates and inconsistent quality controls vexed engineers, demanding urgent upgrades to meet frontline demands. B-25 strafed Japanese convoys, showcasing the R2600's blend of power, reliability, and adaptability in varied theaters. Now, some initial R2600 batches suffered lubrication failures, forcing crews to nurse engines during critical missions. Now, upgrades introduced better cooling and oil systems, letting Allied bombers hammer enemy targets with renewed confidence. Produced in large numbers, the R2600 became a backbone of Allied medium bombers, shaping post-war engine designs. Next up is engine number 11, the HispanoSuiza 12Y. Now, before France fell, a sleek engine rose, the HispanoSuiza 12Y. Now, one miscalculation nearly kept it from greatness. Europe braced for blitzkrieg. The Armée de l'Air needed modern power plants, but found itself outpaced by German innovation. The 12Y was a liquid-cooled V12 that delivered about 860 horsepower, powering fighters like the Marine Saulnier MS-406. Initial success faded as higher output rival engines emerged. France's industry, fraught with delays, couldn't keep pace. Despite limitations, early French aces relied on the 12Y's decent climb and maneuverability to challenge Luftwaffe raids. Production sabotages and political turmoil disrupted supply lines, limiting vital engine upgrades when France really needed them the most. Some 12Ys ended up in foreign service, ironically fighting under other flags under France's fall. Though overshadowed, the 12Y's design informed post-war developments, a reminder of French engineering's potential under fire. Engine 12, the Kleom VK105. In the frozen Soviet skies, the Kleom VK105 powered Yak fighters. One design risk nearly doomed them all. Under siege by Axis forces, the USSR needed agile interceptors, and Kleom delivered a Soviet twist on foreign designs. The VK105 was a licensed derivative of the HispanoSuiza 12Y, enhanced for higher output and Soviet conditions. Factories wrestle with harsh winters and meager resources, testing engineers who struggled to maintain constant quality. Mounted on Yak-1 and Yak-9 fighters, the VK109 delivered surprising speed and climb, which matched the German Bf-109s. Frequent supercharger failures grounded entire squadrons until field mechanics improvised fixes with scavenged parts. Improved variants helped secure Soviet airspace during pivotal battles, giving Red pilots a fighting chance. Though overshadowed by later designs, the VK109's resilience stands as a testament to Soviet ingenuity under extreme pressure. Engine 13, the Fiat A74. Over the Mediterranean, the Fiat A74 rumbled in Italian fighters. One reliability snag nearly grounded the Regia Aeronautica. Now, Italy sought to modernize its air force swiftly, and Fiat's radial solution promised simplicity and decent power. The A74, a 14-cylinder radial with about 840 horsepower, was used in iconic planes like the CR-42 biplane. Now, resource shortages and outdated tooling hampered production quality, forcing frequent overhauls to keep squadrons operational. A74-powered fighters performed well against unprepared foes, securing modest victories in North Africa. In desert heat, cooling issues and sand infiltration often choked the engine, leaving pilots pretty vulnerable. Upgraded filters and oil coolers arrived too late to shift the tide, limiting Italy's aerial prospects. Despite modest performance, the A74 marked Italy's push for modern radials, influencing post-war designs in civil aviation. And engine number 14, the Gnome Rone 14N. Defending the French skies, the Gnome Rone 14N stood ready. A sudden crisis in supply threatened to ground it. France needed robust radials for bombers and fighters, and the Gnome Rone offered a twin-row 14-cylinder contender. The 14N delivered up to 1,100 horsepower, powering aircraft like the Block MB-210 and Liore et Olivier bombers. Now, frequent production halts and political upheaval crippled supply, leaving many airframes without the engines that they needed. Were deployed, 14N-powered planes provided steady performance, though often outmatched by modern German fighters. Allied demands for licensed production never fully materialized, reducing potential for widespread improvement and output. As France fell, surviving 14Ns were scattered, some continuing service in Vichy or with Free French forces. Now, the 14N's fate mirrors France's turmoil, a capable engine that was stifled by circumstance, later influencing radial evolution post-war. 14 engines, 14 different stories of desperate innovation. Each one overcame flaws, faced resource constraints, and soared into history. They remind us that true legends aren't forged in calm times, but born from crisis, tested in battle, and cherished by those who remember. From the Merlin's unstoppable roar to the Yumo O4's jet engine whine, these power plants shaped victory or defeat in ways that are still felt today. The echo of their horsepower lingers, honoring the bravery and brilliance behind them. And if you love this journey through World War II's rare engines, drop a like and subscribe. Which powerhouse should we feature next? The R2800 again, or the DB605's rival? Let us know in the comments.